going, y'all? Back with new damn videos. Get right down to it. We're talking about the NFL draft, how we have the 6th overall pick in the draft. There's a lot of talk of, first let's get this out the way. We just signed Joe Flacco. It's whatever, backup quarterback. I thought they would have brought Nick Foles back, as people were saying. Maybe if you get Bears cut him, we would have got him. I guess Flacco's here, local guy and all that, so I guess it's cool for him to kind of end his career, kind of near his hometown, and grew up an Eagles fan. That's cool, but on that situation, we can talk about that later. I just feel, they could have brought in somebody better, because if something happens to Hurts, or Hurts doesn't really pan out, then maybe you can throw someone in, we can maybe win some games, but it doesn't look like, I don't know. We'll talk about that later, but let's get down to this. The NFL draft 6th overall pick we have, there's a lot of debates going on. Do we take this guy, that guy, that guy, this guy, that guy? Look, I'm telling you, man. As you guys know, I'm a Jamal Chase fan. Always have been, always was. Going back to even his freshman year, 2019? Yeah, when they won the championship game. I watched almost every game because I was a big fan of Burrow and Joe Burrow and all that, and I was watching almost all their games, and they won the championship, and I was seeing what, Chase was doing. And then going into last year's draft, you heard a lot of the top corners in the draft last year were talking about who was the hardest receiver they had to face at the college level. They all said Chase. They didn't say CeeDee Lamb. They didn't say Jalen Reagor. They didn't say Justin Jefferson. They said CeeDee Lamb. They said Jamar Chase. That's who they said. They're like, this dude's a hawk, beast. And I was like, man, only if he was in this draft last year. Last year's draft, because, you had all this wide receiver talent. This year you still do, but that last year was the big thing, and I was like, maybe we could land him or trade up and I don't know, whatever. So I'm a big fan of him, I really am. But I really have been coming across and really growing on the idea of possibly taking Kyle Pitts with the 6th overall pick if he's there. That's the problem. You got Jamal Chase, you got this. And listen, people look at it and go, oh, Kyle Pitts, well, he's a tight end. Why would you take him with the 6th pick? And I understand some actual GMs or some actual front offices will be turned off because he's a tight end, and the past few top tier picks with tight ends haven't panned out, like Eric Ebron, TJ Hawkinson. I really wouldn't say anything about him. He's only this is only his first year, I think, right? Or a year before, whatever, 2 years in the league now, whatever. Year 1, year 2, whatever. He's still young, so I'm not comparing. But Eric Ebron, yeah, he was a boss. I mean, he was the Lions, the Colts, and the Steelers. He's all over the place. But this guy is different to me. I mean, just look at him. First, we'll talk about the measurables, and I'm not the type of person to look at measurables, because hell, look at Tom Brady. His measurables were terrible. That's all they said. The measurables ain't there, this and that. Next thing you know, he's the greatest quarterback to ever live, greatest to ever walk on a plate of grass, a piece of grass. So I can't really look at measurables. But when it comes to the tight end position, I do look at it and I go, wow. You have a guy who is 6'6", 240 pounds, could be 240 plus. Yesterday, just ran a 40-yard dash, 4.4 at 6'6", 240 pounds, could be 45, whatever, but 240 from what they say. Yeah, okay, he's labeled a tight end, yes. But he also at times, as you can see over here, whatever, I can't even see my screen, but I was looking at some of his tape a little bit ago, and I've been watching him. He's labeled tight end, but he also did some plays where he lined up at receiver. He lined up slot here, there, outside. He can do it all, and he's only 20 years old. 20. So by the time his contract would come up with us, he would be like 24 or so or whatever, and we would see what he'd be by then. Kid's young, and he has the measurables like that, and he's running that fast, and you see his hands, and I know the idea, the tight end, like I said, the tight end, dude, he's more than a tight end. He can play receiver. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah. They said if he said, you know what, I'll enlist this draft as a wide receiver, he would probably be the second or third best wide receiver in this draft. Easily. Number one, debating him or Chase. And then, of course, you got, Devontae Smith. But still, Kyle Pitts, man. And then the reason I was only watching some of his stuff, his tape, whatever, is because I wanted to see his blocking skills. So I looked at some of it. I'm only on like the first game, second game, whatever so far. His blocking skills are decent. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, listen, if you're going to trade Zach Ertz or release him, you get a tight end in here. And yeah, we have Dallas Goedert. I think he's on a last year's deal, and I would like to re-sign him and kind of keep him and have this two tight end set, which we all know Nick Sirianni loves to run. And to have it with Kyle Pitts, who, if you just wanted to say, you know what, we'll take Kyle Pitts, but later in the rounds draft another tight end or pick up a tight end free agency, some guy, make Dallas Goedert our number one tight end and turn this guy to a wide receiver, Kyle Pitts, I wouldn't even be mad. I would say, all right, cool. But you have a guy with that versatility. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be this great or this good. We don't know. We don't know until he gets into the actual NFL. But I look at a guy like this, and we all talk about this. You look at a guy like Travis Kelce, right? Or George Kittle. But definitely look at Travis Kelce, and you say to yourself, if he entered this draft right now with what we saw in the NFL so far, the way he plays and how much he dominates defenses and how like he's just open all the time and they can try to shut him down, but they can't, he would be a top 3 pick, the top 10. You know what I mean? He'll be up there. And if this guy can be anything like that, like a lot of people say he can be like a Travis Kelce, or I compare him more, just for me personally, to a Darren Waller off the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost said Oakland Raiders, but whatever. The Las Vegas Raiders, a guy who plays tight end, but almost plays like a wide receiver. Tall, physical, big, but can go out and get the ball. And also lines up a receiver once in a while in certain plays. But Travis Kelce, same thing sometimes. Only thing I think is Kelsey's more bulkier than this dude. But still, if you can get a generational type guy, we don't know. Like I'm saying, he didn't step foot on the field yet. I'm just looking at what we see and what we go by. I take it. I do. You have a dual threat guy who can play tight end or wide receiver. Say we're doing the double tight end sets like Nick Sirianni loves to do. And then say, hey, you know what, one of our receivers gets banged up. You can line them up out there at receiver. You can just, all right, put him receiver, our backup tight end come in. He'll be a blocker. Dallas Goedert will be more of a pass-catching guy. Certain stuff like you can, work all around him. You can use him more all over the field. Jamal Chase, also, like I said, I would not be mad at getting him at all. I would love to get him. Like I said, I loved him a lot. Looking at the two, like I said, he's just a plain wide receiver. You couldn't convert him to tight end, do this and do that, but he's a beast. He's a stud. And those are the two dudes I would really like. But also, we really got to look at it. They might go offensive line. We might really go offensive line. With Swell, and there's some other guys, this and that. They might go offensive line. I know a lot of fans are going to be upset. What the hell? We got to protect the quarterback. Look what happened to our last quarterback. Injuries happened. O-line stunk. Got him hurt. Hell, not even him. Let's go back to Michael Vick. Let's go back to Nick Foles. Let's go back to this guy. We can go back and back if you want. We can go back a little while. But all I'm trying to say is, yeah, I mean, but the way they work things, the Eagles, I could see them going O-line. I would say D-line, but I don't know if there's someone there you would take a 6 unless they trade down to accumulate picks and just take somebody there. We'll see how the draft works out. That's why there's so many this and that. Now, look, people talking about taking quarterback. I don't know if I'm into taking quarterback. I'll take quarterback if the right guy's there. I don't want Justin Fields. I like Trey Lance, but he has raw talent that really needs to be sat for a little while. He needs to be sat and worked on. Who else? I mean, Trevor Lawrence, of course, won't be there. Now, if Trevor Lawrence is going to be there somehow, I think almost any Eagles fan or any sane NFL fan will say, yeah, you fucking take him. I mean, but he won't even get past the first pick. But, yeah, 6th pick, there's so many guys, but I love Kyle Pitts. I really do. The more I look at it, the more I look at just the size and everything and his hands, everything. I'm like, wow. Him, Jamal Chase. Monty Smith's another guy everyone talks about. Get him. And I'm like, you know what? I'll look into it. We got him. I'll be a little upset. Say they passed on Pitts and Jamal Chase, which I doubt either. I doubt Chase would be there. It'd probably be Pitts or someone else or, whatever. I would take those two over Smith. That's just me. But we'll see. Let's go Birds. Flacco, fly them out. You guys comment below on your thoughts on Kyle Pitts, Chase, the whole draft. Flacco, whatever else you feel. Comment below, subscribe also so you can keep up the content, stuff I make. I'm trying to make it, keep it coming as much as possible, but it's hard. But go Birds, Fuckers Fly, like I said 3 times already. And also follow me on Twitter if you like below. I'm out. Peace. Thank you.